Curve Finance, the DEX that actually allows you to specifically focus on stablecoins. I read through their white paper about this, and I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about their, look at this frickin' site here. And then we're going to get into comparing Curve with PulseX in terms of traffic on their website. What do I mean by that? We get to see what the traffic is to curve.fi and pulsex.com, a project that is not even out yet, to see how they're doing. So with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam. For those of you who are returning, it is good to freaking see you. Anybody wants to support the channel, there's some links down below. Appreciate you. Jump over to Twitter, say what's good. Now, first of all, I got to talk about this website. Like, this website is, holy crap. This is like DOS. This is like DOS 1990. Like, shit. You can clearly tell that this site was strictly done by like nerds or engineers or somebody who does not have an eye for user interface or the public, because there is no way Curve is going to be mainstream. Let me put that out there to start with. There is no way Curve is going to be mainstream in this iteration of it. It has to come out with 2.0 or V2, because this is wow, it is not good. This is not good. For example, let's just pull up Uniswap real quick here, so you get to see what. Let's go here. What the Uniswap DApp looks like to actually get into. Excuse me. See what a much better user interface looks like. Let's go to Ether, and let's go to trade. Look at this. This is super simple, right? Super beautiful. What an awesome interface. You got one wrapped ETH, and let's put in, let's put in USDC, and it calculates that shit for you, and you can just say trade, right? What in the frick is going on over here? There is absolutely no way this is going to win over mass market adoption, because of the design of this site. I had to get that over before we get into the white paper. Like, this is just not super easy to look at from somebody who's not a tech dude, but enjoys the technology, what it's capable of. This is not where it's at. Super cool what they're doing. Super cool idea. I love it. But they need to come out with V2 to actually accelerate the adoption of Curve and like propagate, or that just means in the biological world, cells that reproduce, right? So you're just increasing the spread of something. So if they want this to propagate in the world that is crypto, there needs to be an update on this thing, because it is not very good interface. But what they're doing is super cool, very cool. And with that being said, let's get into their white paper. StableSwap, efficient mechanism for stablecoin liquidity. Michael Eargrove. Interesting, 2019. So I read through this. Curve is specifically for stablecoins. And why stablecoins? Because of the nature of a stablecoin, it's just trading one-to-one, right? They're talking about like dollars or things like that, right? It's just trading one-to-one. So the ratio shouldn't change, or shouldn't change very much. And when you look at the different formulas used for an automated market maker, something like Uniswap uses this, right? It's called a constant product. So this is X times Y equals the constant product. So X times Y equals K. And if you put that onto a graph and you start putting in different variables for X and Y, you keep changing that and going back and forth between the two, you come out with this purple dotted line here. Let me make my head a little bit smaller so you guys can see this. And what this represents is basically a tangent or almost tangent with this pink or red dotted line. And that would be a constant sum, right? So you're adding x plus y. What are x and y? That is the coins in each one of those pools. So that the dollar amount has to be the same. Or the number of tokens could vary because they're not trading one-to-one necessarily, except for in this unique case. So what the stable swap behind curve does, from my understanding of this, they changed the formula from constant product, x times y, just like the Uniswap here, and they changed the constant sum so it's not x plus y equals a constant to a variation of that. And if you see right here in the middle, that's the blue line. Why is that important? Why does that matter? Well, in this example here, where you have this light purple or dark lavender color, where it's tangent, right? It just means like just barely touching. This purple one comes out here. If somebody, in this example right here, we have 10 and 10. So if somebody were to, well, that's just for the specific line, but if somebody were to trade a large amount, there's more room for slippage. So what does that mean? Let's take a quick screenshot here so I can actually show you. So this here is the very center, we'll call that. And if somebody were to trade a lot, right, then what happens in one direction? Say they're going this way, right? So they come up this way. Well, what this represents here is slippage, right? That little triangle. So in this way, if it was here and they were coming out this way, this purple line, right, that's a bow tie, as I would call that in the industry. I'm just kidding. But that is the slippage, right? Because what happens when you have this and you trade, you have a large trade, this buys up the other side and sells the one side down you're getting rid of. And that pushes the price in one direction because that's the nature of a x times y equals k. That's just how it works. The math is pretty simple. Now, when you're trading one for one, right, they should always be one for one. Now, when they went through and they made the derivations or the changes to the formula, between these two, you get to see that this blue line is much closer or spread out across the red line more, right? So it's flat almost all the way out to here, and it's flat almost all the way up to here. So let's take another screenshot here so you can take a look at this. Whoops. I'm going to show you what it would mean here. Now, we're going to use a red pen here. So we're going to go from, say, the center. We're going to follow this blue line out here and the purple line here. So this area here, not the red one's still below, right? But that smaller triangle represents the savings in slippage by changing the AMM formula. Let's go over that again. If somebody has a trade, they have a large amount of USDC that they're going to change into DAI. They're pegged one-to-one to the dollar. So that means they should always trade it one for one. Well, say somebody has $10 million, $20 million that they want to trade from USDC to DAI. Well, if they were to do that all at once, then maybe they need to buy a house or do another business deal or whatever the case is. That can drive the price off, meaning you don't just trade one for one, $10 million for $10 million, right? In DAI, you trade $10 million in USDC for, say, $9,050,000 in DAI. And I'm using maybe being a little extreme right there, obviously very extreme, but it can be very extreme in terms of slippage. Maybe it's 5%, right? In some of the bigger examples, it definitely adds up. So 10% of 10 million is $1 million. 5% is 500 grand. So if it was 5% in that example, then it would be $500,000 of cost. So you get 10 million bucks, and if you trade it all at once, and depending on the size of the pool, right, on Uniswap, you end up with 9.5 million of DAI, even though they're supposed to be trading 1 for 1. Now, with Curve, because they changed the constant product, right, formula for AMM, that's this thing right here. They changed this. We're not going to get into the math because I think it's probably too boring for a lot of people. But effectively, by changing the formula, and it's not also going to be this constant sum, right, where you do x plus y, they're able to create a formula that allows people to save a boatload of flippage. So I thought this was super interesting, and I thought that this type of thing may be able to apply to other things as a way to almost increase the depth of a marketplace by how they're doing it. And I thought that was very interesting. Maybe a copy or something similar could be implemented for pairs on Uniswap, right? Because the amount of volume on Curve, like you don't, I mean, I don't need to tell you, like the volume on something that looks like this, how do you think this is going to be relative to Uniswap? Like, you can let me know down below in the comments. Like, you want to use this? You want to use this user interface, right? It's going to confuse people, even if it could be a way better product for a specific niche, right? Or you want to use something so simple like this. So, I was curious, how does something like Curve, look relative to PulseX? Not in terms of the look and feel of their site, but in terms of people who are actually traveling to their website. Given how, like, I want to call it elementary their site looks versus, say, pulsex.com, which is something that is not even out right now, is it possible that because the site is so poor that not as many people are talking about it, not as many people understand it, it's not intuitive, right, to figure out? Could PulseX, the DEX for Pulse Chain that isn't even available yet, be better in terms of people actually going to their website? And in order to do that, I go to this site called SimilarWeb. They're a data analytics company where they rank company or websites relative to each other based upon traffic and page views and bounce rate, etc. And when you look at curve.fi, you get to see right here that globally they're ranked 65,000th, right? Pretty good, 65,000. That's pretty darn good. Remember, there's millions of websites, and relative to last month, they're growing, right? 14,000 spots, so that's good. In the United States, 52,000. In the category of finance, they're in the top 1,000 sites. Wow, that's pretty good, right? Can this project, which is live, globally known, be higher ranked than something like PulseX that isn't even out yet? Let's take a look at the data and see. So we'd use the same site, pulsex.com. Look at this. Globally, PulseX is ranked 63,000th. So when we look at this, we see that PulseX is actually ranked higher than Curve. Something that is not even out yet is ranked higher than Curve is, which is currently on the marketplace, both globally and in the United States. Globally, it's ranked a couple thousand spots better, so probably not too much of a difference. They've both been growing, 5,000 spots for PulseX over the past month and 14,000 spots for Curve. So if you just looked at a 1 month data point, Curve is growing faster, but there's so much variability month to month that I don't think that's a super valuable metric to look at. Another one is PulseX, something that is not even out yet, ranks not only better than Curve, but also ranks in the top 1,000 websites related to finance here in the United States. That's pretty crazy. So if you found this video crazy, if you found this website absolutely crazy, and you enjoy learning about this stuff, and you enjoy hearing about this kind of stuff, make sure you press that subscribe button, press the bell notification, jump down below to Twitter. My buddy bet me that I cannot beat his Twitter following, 14,000 plus followers. The only ways I see that happening is with your help. So if you want to help out, jump down below to Twitter, press the follow button, posting over there regularly on this type of stuff, so you get to learn before the videos actually come out or get to see or interact over there. Also, I have another YouTube channel related to fitness stuff, so if you want to check that out, that link should be coming up here on the screen. And there's also Instagram. Check out Instagram. There's other stuff too. I have some products if you want to check out that stuff in the fitness realm. Some cool products that are not your traditional stuff. There's a lot of cool shit out there that you don't know about. So appreciate you. Talk to you soon. Peace.